Thank you very much for coming. Welcome. My name is Peter Larson. I'm Vice President of Multi-Channel Fulfillment and Buy with Prime at Amazon. And believe it or not, this is my first NRF, so I'm very excited, and please be kind. Okay, so in a couple minutes, I'm going to invite Michael from Salesforce and Jenna from Solo Brands up on stage to talk about our latest Buy with Prime integration and how it's helping brands grow their D2C business. But before that, let me just take a few steps backward and set the stage a little bit. As many of you probably know, Amazon has spent billions and billions of dollars creating a fulfillment network that gets millions of items to shoppers really quickly and on time every time. And we thought to ourselves a year ago, Prime members love this experience on Amazon.com. So why shouldn't that experience also be available off of Amazon.com? The answer is it should. That's how Buy with Prime got started. Let me show you how it works.
You've got a business to run, products to make, orders to process, and customers to connect with. Why worry about attracting and converting shoppers when there's a new way to grow? Introducing Buy with Prime. Get busy! Imagine offering Prime shopping benefits on your own site, like 1 to 2 day shipping and a seamless checkout millions of Prime members trust. There's even unique marketing solutions to help you reach more shoppers. Oh wait, we forgot to mention, Amazon handles the payment, processing, storage, packing, delivery, and yes, even easy returns. All through Amazon's vast fulfillment network. While you build direct relationships in real time with control of your customer data. Pretty cool, right? Get busy! Let us do what we do best so you can do what you do best. Prime members can now use Buy with Prime on your site.
Okay, so we have thousands of merchants have been signing up for Buy with Prime every week since we got going almost exactly a year ago. One of the exciting things we're seeing is that 3 out of every 4 shoppers that use Buy with Prime are net new to brand shoppers. That, of course, as you all know, is the holy grail for those D2C businesses trying to grow. How do we acquire new shoppers? All right, so that's acquisition. How about conversion? Well, we're also seeing that on average, shopper conversion is increasing by 25% for merchants using Buy with Prime. What does that mean? It means more shoppers are buying things more often on products that are enabled with Buy with Prime. Why is that? Well, many of these Prime members have grown up as e-commerce shoppers on Amazon.com, and they've come to expect the same Prime experience, 1 and 2 day free shipping, reliable delivery times, and a promise, and they want to see that on sites beyond Amazon. Let's take a look at one of our customers, Bare Minerals, one of the most recognizable cosmetics brands. They've added Buy with Prime 6 months ago or so. They did some A/B testing, and they saw a 60% uplift in shopper conversion. Also, this past holiday season, they used Buy with Prime to give shoppers an extra week to shop. So I'm not one of these people, and I know you're not any of these people, but there are some people out there who wait until the very last minute to buy their Christmas gifts. Those people now, with Buy with Prime, for years, they've had a chance to go to Amazon.com and wait until the last minute to buy their products to get it by Christmas. With Buy with Prime, those shoppers can now go to D2C sites, and they can have that same experience of procrastination, which we all know and love. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about our newest integration, which is Buy with Prime for Salesforce Commerce Cloud integration. A snappy name if there ever was one. Salesforce reaches over 2 billion shoppers, and they're across a number of industry verticals, and that's why we're super excited to work with them. We're also excited to work with them because we built some net new Buy with Prime features directly into our Salesforce Commerce Cloud integration. Number 1, there are no new tools to learn. Buy with Prime data and Buy with Prime operations seamlessly flows into all the Salesforce Commerce Cloud's tools that you use today. So there's no net tools to learn, and it actually makes operations of Buy with Prime with Salesforce Commerce Cloud really easy. That's thing one. Thing two, one of the things merchants have been asking us since we launched Buy with Prime a year ago is to make the Prime brand more prevalent through the shopping journey, just like Prime members are used to on Amazon.com. To date, a shopper can only find Buy with Prime on the product page. That's the only way to find out what it's all about and to use it. With this new integration with Salesforce, you can now integrate the Prime experience throughout the entire shopping journey. For example, in search. So you can search in the D2C site. You can find out which items are Prime enabled. You can actually filter your search on Prime or not Prime, just like you have on Amazon.com. Note, this is not an Amazon or a Prime branding takeover of your D2C site, because we've also built in many options for merchants to customize exactly how the Prime brand shows up on their D2C site, which of course they've spent a lot of time and effort to customize to their own particular brand, look and feel and vibe. So it's really the best of both worlds. You get the best of the Prime experience on Amazon, but you also retain all of the things you love about the D2C site itself. Number three, merchants don't add all their items into Buy with Prime right away. We know this is the case. Many merchants start out, they want to try a few products, they want to see how it goes. I, for example, tell them about the conversion. They say, like you, not sure if I believe you, want to see it for myself. So they put a few products into Buy with Prime. Now, what that means is that as a shopper, you're going to go through a particular D2C site that might have, let's say, 50% of their products on Buy with Prime, and you might add a Prime product to your cart. You might also add a non-Prime item to your cart. In this new integration, the same cart, which is the Salesforce Commerce Cloud checkout, can handle both Prime and non-Prime items, so shoppers can choose whatever experience they want to. We think this is going to work out really well because, again, these Prime members are used to this experience on Amazon. Okay, so don't take my word for it. Let me invite my colleagues, Michael from Salesforce and Jenna from Solar Brands, up to the stage. Come on up. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you again for coming. Really appreciate it. Well, so I guess we can start off. And is it true, Jenna, that brands really only have to do one thing for massive success in everything they're doing with e-commerce, and that's add Snoop Dogg to one of their marketing?
Yeah, it's really easy, actually, to predict a viral campaign. I suggest everybody does it. No, it was amazing to be a part of this campaign. Snoop performed. He gave us so much more than he was obligated to. And it was a blast being a part of executing this, but did a great job putting us on the map and driving some unbelievable global brand awareness. We saw, I think the latest count was roughly 19 billion impressions. So that means everyone on the planet saw it like 2.5 times, which is insane. But yeah, it's a great way to start out the new year for sure.
Yeah, that's an amazing campaign, actually. You have an amazing background, from USA Rugby superstar to retail superstar. Tell us about it.
Yeah, sure. So yes, I played rugby for the US Sevens national team for a bunch of years. I was in the pool for about 7 years. And being an athlete really set the stage for my retail journey. You know, being an athlete in general, you know, learning teamwork and grit and resilience and all those wonderful qualities. You know, people often ask me, when did you stop being an athlete? And I always say, what are you talking about? I'm just a professional retail athlete now, right? Same qualities, same needs, just different gigs. So my career is actually pretty interesting, I think. You know, I began actually on the retail tech side. So selling software, enabling integrations, partnerships, go-to-market strategies, sitting on partner advisory boards with the likes of Salesforce. And I had an opportunity to come over to the retail side, and I was so inspired by it because I was going to be able to see how the other half lives. You know, I think as retail tech execs, you know, we're selling into a buyer that we don't really necessarily always understand. We don't know how budgets are built. We don't know how cross-channel stakeholdership is really born. And so being able to come over and do that was a really, really awesome gift for me. So I came on as VP of Digital at Snipes, which is a global sneaker and streetwear retailer. Was promoted to CDO there. Wholesaler, really cool opportunity. and then was recruited to come over to Solo Brands, a public portfolio company. We own Solo Stove, Chubby's, Isle, Oru, a bunch of others. But yeah, really excited to be here and share that journey with you guys.
It's an amazing experience, that's for sure.
Thanks.
Your background, Jenna, was one of the reasons, I think we clicked when we first met, and you've been such a great partner to Salesforce. But maybe tell the team and everyone gathered here that, rugby, sneakers, and now stoves and pizza ovens. Why Solo? Like, what's cool about the brand? Why do you like it? And what's going on?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So when I was at Snipes, we're a brand of brands. We sell Nike, Adi, Puma, Jordan, etc. Gave me a really interesting, unique perspective. But the opportunity with Solo was really interesting to me because number one, we're public, so that's a whole hairy beast to deal with and great experience to grow into. But what's really interesting too is that we're vertical. So we're direct to consumer. We've got a budding wholesale channel, but really being able to get involved in product development and manufacturing, to me, really felt like I was going to be able to round out that retail journey and really just complete the whole picture.
That's cool.
Well, needless to say, it's been an interesting last couple of years.
Yes.
And my understanding is that you've had to adjust how you think about the wholesale channel versus the e-commerce channel along the way. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So our wholesale channel is only about a year old. And so we're learning as the business continues to evolve, the impact of wholesale growth on the rest of the business. I kind of feel like my superpower in all of this is that when I was at Snipes, we had over 300 stores. And so I got to put in all of the hard, channels and hooks to enable some of those omni-channel transactions, right? BOPIS, ROPIS, buy online, ship to store, ship from store, deal with all the alt payment methods on the front end, et cetera, to actually make these omni-channel experiences really, really come to life. And so when I came into this new direct-to-consumer environment, saw the massive impact that wholesale was having on the business, I thought, wow, why not bring this omni-channel experience into the D2C world? We were able to measure this, right? We could see that an omni-channel consumer is 300 times more valuable, or 300% more valuable than the average consumer. And so being able to come in here, enable some of those unique use cases has got me really excited to push the boundaries on how D2C and wholesale historically have either battled or worked together.
And you've been busy since you joined, I hear.
I've been very busy.
One of the first Solo stoves that I bought, as we've talked about, I bought in a Walmart, right? And then I got this little insert inside my box. I went to your website, I bought some of the extra accessories and created a membership, and then you guys got me hooked, right? And that's a pretty common experience that you guys were driving. And I remember when we talked about you bringing Commerce Cloud on, that was the first thing we started talking about, was that conversion of the in-store person and the wholesale experience to online, right? So maybe you could talk a bit more about why was Commerce Cloud helpful in what you were trying to accomplish with Solo Stove and that journey from in-store to e-com?
Yeah, the old insert in the package. Yeah, it's really rocket science. No, it's actually really worked very well for us. Yeah, it did. Exhibit A. I think what's interesting too is that looking actually at our new customer acquisition strategy at the intersection of category is really, really interesting. So being able to measure that our first-time consumers are now entering their life cycle with us through the accessories category is giving us more validation that they might be getting their pits at a, Dick's Sporting Goods or at a Costco, at a Walmart, but we're successfully getting them to convert over into our direct consumer site and continue to evolve their relationship with the brand. When it comes to Salesforce and it comes to blurring the lines between this direct consumer and wholesale channel, we went to market and we looked at all of the top e-commerce backends that you could imagine. And it was my goal to break all of them, right? To figure out which were the platforms that weren't going to be able to get us there. And obviously I couldn't break Salesforce. I tried, but I couldn't. And so, we're really excited to embark on this journey. The vision for this is just because consumers come to our site doesn't mean that their expectations change. We have omni-channel consumers. It's who they are. It's who all of us are. And if our consumers have the expectation that they want to understand where an item is, where they can pick it up, or they want to touch it and feel it before they buy it, they want same-day delivery, next-day delivery, willing to wait a couple days, it's our responsibility, even as a direct-consumer brand, to give them that experience. So historically today, D2C doesn't offer that convenience. We don't have a store footprint. So how can we leverage OMS? How can we leverage Salesforce Commerce Cloud to tie into our wholesale inventory and expose that position to consumers, enable us to route orders to them, right? Whether it's for fulfillment, micro-fulfillment centers, or it's for BOPIS transactions, and we can work to actually push our customers across the lease line of their stores. we believe that we're winning, and we believe that Salesforce is the tech platform to get us there.
I appreciate that. I remember the evaluation process was, as Jenna said, very, very rigorous, I would say. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yes. You didn't break us, but we came close. And I think the thing I appreciated about that evaluation process that anyone who's worked with us knows is that it's actually the beginning of the partnership, right? We spend a lot of time trying to understand the movement of the stoves through the customer journey. What are the different ways that customers may actually lose trust in the brand because something not good happens, right? And how can we help make that better with our technology? And Jeff, just really proud to have you on the platform and to continue to partner with you. So thanks for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I guess part of the journey that we're all on is that when a shopper comes to your site, you don't know who they are half the time, or even more than half the time, perhaps.
I wish.
Yeah, true. That'd be a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a really good point. You know, I think we all know that the average conversion rate is roughly 2%, right? So those customers become identified, which leaves 98% of our consumers anonymous. We don't know why they're there. You know, we're not quite sure. They could be there to discover the brand. They could be there to check out Snoop. All sorts of reasons. They could be buying a gift. They could be looking for store inventory. And so, you know, it's really up to us to figure out, how do we meet those customers' needs? How do we meet them where they are? How do we have the right experience, the right payment methods, you know, and the right third-party integrations that are going to make sure that we can convert them as aggressively and effectively as possible.
And so Michael has just made it through his journey of trial and error with Jenna and Solo, which has turned out really well. You're just at the beginning of your evaluation of Buy with Prime. What are your thoughts so far?
I am, yeah. It was very interesting. So we actually did a test, and I'll caveat with, the purpose of this was more of a proof of concept, less pilot, less rigorous A/B test. This was, is this a thing? Do our customers care about this? And so we went through the integration, which was pretty seamless. And we actually did the test over a 6-week period. We started on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Risky, I know. But we actually let that run for about 6 weeks. And what we found is that we tested 3 SKUs. And of those 3 SKUs, 35% of the throughput was actually through Buy with Prime. So 35% of the consumers that bought those SKUs during that 6-week window opted to Buy with Prime. There was a little bit of a period of time there where there were some incentives that were incentivizing consumers to Buy with Prime, but the majority of the time was actually absolutely their decision and their choice. We actually bucked the trends a little bit. 95% of our transactions were actually earmuffs existing customers. So for us, it was actually an unbelievable retention play. And additionally, of the 3 SKUs that we had live, we had 2 Yukons, one in an ash, which is like a black colorway. The other was in stainless steel. And then the 3rd SKU is actually a Pi Prime, which is our latest pizza oven, everybody. And so what was very interesting is that roughly 90% of the sell-through was on this pizza oven. So these existing customers came to our site. They'd already bought a pit, which is great, but we were actually able to drive throughput on our pizza ovens with existing customers by enabling Buy with Prime. So if this is a retention play for me and an acquisition for everybody else, I'm fine with it. But it was definitely a success. I will say another interesting data point was on December 6th, 72% of those SKUs were actually paid for with Buy with Prime. And so what I see as an executive is consumers that are doing their shopping, and they are putting their trust and their loyalty and faith in service level with Amazon to make sure that those items bought for the holiday were going to get there in time. It makes me a little sad that they didn't trust us, but hey, it's going to drive the conversion. I'm all for it.
Well, whether it's acquisition or retention, we're just happy it's working for you so far.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we're psyched to get into a more rigorous pilot through February to have some more defensible data on conversion metrics.
Looking forward to being put through the ringer.
Yeah, can't wait.
It's very cool. And Jenna, I'm sure if any of my team members are out there, any Commerce Cloud team members out there? There we go. I'm sure they're as triggered as I am by hearing the words experiment, change, holiday season, December. Why and how is it possible to actually experiment with something so close to such a critical time when most retailers are just completely locking down their e-com infrastructure?
Yeah, I mean, my perspective is actually twofold. I've been broken over and over again. When I was at Snipes, you know, we were selling hype sneakers, right? At 1,000 people, or 1 million people showing up for 1,000 pairs of shoes, right? So dealing with Black Friday 3 days a week really put us in a position to build the appropriate infrastructure on Salesforce, by the way, to manage that level of volume and velocity to keep everything safe and thriving. So I'm a little maybe riskier when it comes to pushing the needle. We never went into code freeze at Snipes. We just kind of blazed through. So Between that and the fact that it's a JavaScript widget that layers over the site, requires a little bit of testing, but it was pretty seamless. Getting this live really wasn't that big of a risk for us, and we took the risk and it paid off. So
I'm so glad it worked. Michael, how do you think about the Salesforce integration with Buy with Prime?
Well, I love it. The thing.
What a surprise.
That's right. I made the joke to Peter when we first started working together that as an Amazon customer myself and a frequent user of Buy with Prime in our home life, I feel like Commerce Cloud and Amazon Buy with Prime coming together, it's kind of cheesy, but we're like two best friends who somehow just haven't met yet, And the reason I love it is, as you can see here on the screen, is that we're bringing the power of Buy with Prime directly into Commerce Cloud. And as Peter mentioned, it's not just empowering a checkout method and some fulfillment options, which are very powerful. It's actually deeply connected to our order management infrastructure so that our customers can actually interact with the Buy with Prime orders and manipulate them using our order management system. They'll see the Buy with Prime information, enriching the customer 360 profile that every Commerce Cloud customer can use to look at who's coming to their site. And this is why Commerce Cloud is a part of the larger Customer 360 from Salesforce. So customers like solo brands that use more than one of our applications can actually see the Buy with Prime experience from a merchant perspective, traverse the whole life cycle. Service agents can actually look at and manipulate the orders. They can help issue the refunds, and they can actually see the transactions just like something that processes through the normal checkout options. And that type of unification from the commerce experience through the service and even at the top line through the marketing journey is a really powerful multiplier of Buy with Prime plugging into Commerce Cloud. So I think we're just at the beginning, Peter. I think there's so much more we're going to do together, and I'm just so excited that we're getting to start our partnership today. So thank you.
Yeah, me too as well. It's great to work with great people too. It's really fun to get to know you and a little bit you. We're starting to get to know each other, which I'm happy about.
I appreciate that.
What about your thoughts on what's next for Buy with Prime?
fantastic question. So glad you asked. Listen, I was super honored to get to see this integration before it was GA. What I will say is that one of the most complex parts of the customer journey, the thing we covet the most and protect the most, is the checkout, right? It's the cart. The benefit of this integration is pretty interesting. It really helps you jump the line on the mixed cart use cases. And so being able to actually treat individual SKUs differently within the cart, this cartridge really allows you to kind of springboard development and to create an experience where it can recognize the fact that this item is eligible for X or Y or Z. X could be buy with Prime, Y could be BOPUS, Z could be shipped to home. And so that's always been something that's been a little bit nebulous and hard to navigate. So knowing that through this integration, we can have a more seamless go-to-market strategy when it comes to mixed cart, I'm pumped to test it out.
It'd be really interesting. Are you thinking about inventory any differently in this experience, or?
Yeah, definitely. I think as we manage our marketplaces, we're always dealing with inventory, right? Those, dreaded storage fees, right? We have to be very specific in what we put into Amazon from a marketplace perspective. We know that Buy with Prime requires us to have inventory that's with Amazon because they're the ones actually shipping these items out, right? Transaction takes place on D2C, gets routed to Amazon for fulfillment. All is good in the world. So what's interesting though, and I kind of flipped it on its head a little bit, what I noticed is that we might be able to take some bigger swings on our assortment in Amazon by utilizing Buy with Prime as a way to de-risk that inventory position. So if I know that I'm going to put core products in Marketplace today because I know we're going to drive that sell-through, maybe I can drive some more accessories. Maybe I can create some more unique bundles with some more accessories. Maybe I can actually try to widen the assortment within Marketplace to test that in the Marketplace environment, but know that in the moment that that sell-through isn't hitting the volume or velocity that I anticipated, boom, I can turn on Buy with Prime and I can all of a sudden use my direct-to-consumer selling power to actually drive throughput on those units and de-risk that storage fee or have to pay to actually bring those units back into our distribution center. So I know it's a little bit of a nerdy perspective, but I think from a logistics standpoint, it's a cool way to de-risk that inventory.
It's those little nerdy things that actually make e-commerce work.
Lots and lots of them, right?
It is, for sure.
Listen, Jenna, thank you so much for beginning this journey with us with Buy with Prime. Michael, thank you so much for being a partner with us. We're really excited to work with you both. Thanks for showing up here today. Really appreciate it. For all of you, that's what we had to talk about today. For those of you who are interested in the Buy with Prime for Salesforce Commerce Cloud integration, you can go to the Buy with Prime site and sign up for early access. You can also see a Salesforce and Buy with Prime demo in the Buy with Prime booth, which is in the AWS booth, which is 6020. And immediately after this, we're going to take that concept of free, fast shipping, and we're going to go over to the Salesforce booth, 5125, for a free, fast sipping happy hour. So please join us. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Of course.